There's all kinds of twists on the way in Emmerdale. Amid theories over a possible downfall, Thursday's episode saw one couple make a decision after some recent news, hinting a new baby could be in the village soon. Elsewhere, it was teased a former couple could reconcile despite one of them being married. So does an affair loom? On Wednesday we saw Dawn Taylor telling new flame Joe Tate that she thought she might be pregnant, weeks on from their engagement. On Thursday she did a pregnancy test and learned she was not expecting Joe's baby after all, and she seemed gutted. With that, the pair decided to have a baby together, with Dawn suggesting they let nature take its course and hope for the best. So does this mean Joe and Dawn could be set to expand their family soon, with another soap baby confirmed? Elsewhere, Graham Forster was encouraged by Joe to try and reconcile with his ex Rona Goskirk. The problem is Rona is married to Marlon Dingle. Rona had planned to run away with Graham in 2020, but he was murdered, leaving her devastated. It was only weeks ago that we all learned Graham was alive after faking his death. Now he's back, and after explaining himself to Rona, it's clear he still has feelings for her. Joe encouraged him not to be worried about Marlon and to pursue Rona. When Graham tracked her down, he poured his heart out and shared his true feelings. Confessing his love for her that has never gone away, he shocked her with his admission that he wanted to be with her. But this did not go how HR had hoped, when suddenly she made it clear that she had no intention of reuniting with him. Rona had no plans to leave her husband Marlon, and she told him that was it. She later explained what had happened to her mum Mary Goskirk. In an awkward twist though, Marlon walked in just as she said it. He heard it all and vowed to kill Graham for trying to wreck his marriage. So will Graham regret his love confession? Get the latest drama from the Dales by joining our Emmerdale WhatsApp group. As drama continues to unfold in the Yorkshire Dales, the Mirror has launched its very own Emmerdale WhatsApp community, where you'll get all the latest breaking news, secrets, and spoilers delivered straight to your phone. Users must download or already have WhatsApp on their phones to join in. All you have to do to join is click on this link, select Join Chat, and you're in. We may also send you stories from other titles across the Reach group. We will also treat our community members to special offers, promotions, and adverts from us and our partners. If you don't like our community, you can check out anytime you like. To leave our community, click on the name at the top of your screen and choose Exit Group. If you're curious, you can read our privacy notice. Click here to join. Or might Rona realize it's Graham she loves? And could the pair embark on a shocking affair? It comes amid a theory that Joe is facing a downfall after his evil actions. Dawn Taylor stood alone in the bathroom at home farm, staring at the small plastic stick in her trembling hands. For weeks, something had felt different. A flutter of hope. A nod of anxiety. A strange certainty. She had told Joe Tate she thought she might be pregnant. And when she had, she'd seen something flicker in his eyes. Surprise, yes. But also calculation. Joe Tate didn't do anything without thinking 3 moves ahead. Now, staring down at the test result, Dawn's breath caught. Negative. No baby. No life growing inside her. She hadn't expected the wave of disappointment that followed. She had braced herself for panic, for fear of what another child might mean. Instead, she felt loss. When she walked back into the bedroom, Joe was waiting. Well, he asked carefully. She shook her head. I'm not pregnant. There was a pause. Just long enough to matter. Then something unexpected happened. Instead of relief, instead of the cool detachment Dawn half expected from the calculating Tate heir, Joe reached for her. Then maybe we should try, he said quietly. And just like that, a decision was made. No more waiting. No more if it happens, it happens. They would let nature take its course. They would try for a baby. The Tate legacy. For Joe Tate, fatherhood was not just about love. It was about legacy. As the son of a dynasty that had ruled the Dales through power and manipulation, Joe understood bloodlines. He understood influence. He understood control. A child with Dawn would cement something permanent. A family unit. A future. An anchor in the village that no scandal could easily uproot. But as viewers know, nothing in Emmerdale is ever that simple. Joe's past was riddled with secrets. Schemes. Manipulations that had left scars on more than one life in the village. And whispers were already circling that his reign might not last forever. Because in Soapland, when someone appears to have everything, power, love, security, the downfall is rarely far behind. A ghost in the village. If Joe and Dawn's baby plans represented hope, Graham Foster's return represented chaos. He had been cremated, mourned, grieved, and yet here he was, breathing the same air as the woman who once planned to run away with him. Years earlier, Rona had been ready to leave everything behind for Graham. She had believed in a fresh start. A new chapter. Freedom from the trauma of her past. Then he had died. Only he hadn't. He had faked his death after discovering a plot against him. Disappearing to protect himself and, in his mind, to protect Rona. But protection built on deception is still betrayal. And when the truth emerged that Graham was alive, the emotional fallout was immediate. Rona had moved on. She had married Marlon Dingle. She had rebuilt her life. She had healed, or tried to. Now the past had returned with unfinished business. Joe's encouragement. Strangely, it was Joe who pushed Graham forward. "You can't let Marlon scare you," Joe told him one evening at home farm. "If you love her, fight for her." It was classic Joe Tate. Encourage chaos. Stir the pot. Watch the fallout from a safe distance. For Joe, pushing Graham toward Rona served multiple purposes. It destabilized Marlon, a man fiercely loyal and deeply protective. It unsettled Rona. It created fractures. And fractured villages were easier to manipulate. Graham, however, was no pawn. He genuinely loved Rona. Or at least he believed he did. So he went to find her. The confession. When Graham cornered Rona, the tension was immediate. She hadn't asked for this. Hadn't invited him back into her emotional orbit. "I never stopped loving you," he told her. The words hung in the air. Dangerous. Tempting. Unfair. Rona's face flickered with emotion. Anger, confusion. Something softer that she quickly buried. "You don't get to do this," she said. He stepped closer. "I should have fought for you then. I'm fighting now. But timing is everything." And Graham's timing was catastrophic. Because as he poured his heart out, as he confessed that his love had never faded, footsteps approached. And Marlon heard everything. Marlon's breaking point. Marlon Dingle had endured prison. Humiliation. Fear. The possibility of losing Rona forever. He had stood by her through trauma and grief. He had believed they were stronger than the past. Now he stood frozen in the doorway, hearing another man declare his love for his wife. Rage flashed across his face. "If you don't leave right now," he warned Graham, "I will kill you." It wasn't empty. This wasn't jealousy alone. This was a man who had nearly lost everything once already, and refused to let it happen again. Graham left. But the damage was done. Rona's turmoil. Later that night, Rona sat with her mother, Mary Goskirk, trying to process it all. "He said he still loves me," she admitted quietly. Mary studied her daughter carefully. "And how did that make you feel?" That was the question. Rona loved Marlon. She did. But Graham represented a path not taken. A life interrupted. A chapter that had never properly closed. She had grieved him. Now she had to decide whether that grief had been about love, or about loss of choice. Affair or endgame. The village was buzzing. Could Rona really turn her back on a man she once planned to run away with? Would Marlon's anger push her away instead of pulling her closer? And if Graham continued to pursue her, how long could she resist the unresolved pull between them? Affairs in Emmerdale rarely begin with intention. They begin with emotion, with vulnerability, with one last conversation. Joe, watching from the sidelines, seemed almost amused by the escalating tension. Because while everyone else focused on Rona and Graham, Joe's own future was quietly balancing on a knife edge. The downfall theory. Rumors were spreading that Joe's time at the top might not last. His schemes had made enemies. His ambition had left scars. And if Dawn did become pregnant, a baby wouldn't just bring joy, it would raise the stakes. Because nothing destroys a villain faster than vulnerability. A child would give Joe something to lose. And in soap logic, that is always dangerous. Two love stories, one village. On one side of the Dales, Dawn and Joe were choosing creation. On the other, Rona and Graham were flirting with destruction. And in between stood Marlon, wounded, furious, fighting for his marriage. The irony was impossible to ignore. One couple trying to bring life into the world, another risking tearing their world apart.